Hey guys, thanks for tuning back in. I'm gonna go over some of my gear that I took on my last trip, which was this past weekend to Dolly Sods Wilderness in Monongahela, I think I said that right, National Forest in West Virginia. I just did a gear video about 3 weeks ago when I went to West Rim in Pennsylvania, and most of my gear is pretty much identical to that trip. So I'm gonna do this gear video a little bit different. I'm only gonna talk about things that I did differently and tell you some of the things that I did to save some weight here and there, and what gear did good, just basically the reasons why I changed up a few of the things in my my everyday spring loadout backpacking system. Alright guys, so if you're interested in my full loadout kind of laid out on the table here, piece by piece, I'm gonna put that video up in the cards from 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago whenever I went. So for the big four, I have my Hyperlight Mountain Gear Porter backpack. I have a Thermarest NeoAir X-Lite, second time I've ever gotten to use this. I have the Light Heart Gear Solo Tent and the Hammock Gear Burrow Econ 20-degree quilt. None of that stuff has changed. So let's get into some of the things I didn't do. On the backpack, I actually took off the little pouch that I keep right here. I just didn't need any extra storage this week, so I just ended up taking that off for a little extra weight. And you'll notice in a lot of videos I carry, kind of like the AT thru hikers do, a bottle of Purell hanging for after I go to the bathroom. You can always sanitize your hands and whatnot. I think I might stop doing that just because the caps on those kind of tend to open and close every now and then and drip all over the place. So what I did is I got a really small bottle of hand sanitizer right here, and I'm actually pretty particular. I actually squeeze out like half of the bottle and only bring just a little bit in there. But this is something that I just started doing a few trips ago, and what it is my Toiletries bag. It has my poop trowel, for digging the hole, toilet paper, and hand sanitizer, and I keep this on the outer pocket of my backpack, so no matter what time nature calls, I can just grab my bathroom kit and go off, and I have everything I need in there. In Pennsylvania, for the first time, I backpacked with carrying chamois cloths here, which was really nice because they're really absorbent, and wiping off the tent and wringing them out like a sponge, I can save a lot of weight that way. Which, by the way, I did weigh my tent after that trip. It was a little damp. It gained about 4 ounces. The Light Heart Gear Solo is a sil nylon tent. It does absorb some water, so it got a little bit heavier there. This past weekend, it was soaked to the bone. I did dry it off a little bit, what I could. Wringed it out about 3 times just by wiping off the rain fly. It gained 8 ounces, so I weighed it when I got home, and definitely it holds a little bit of water. I've heard rumors that it doubles in weight when it's soaked, and that might be like dripping wet, like submerged. But if you have a sil nylon tent, you really should be carrying one of these, because it only takes a couple minutes to wipe off your rain fly and wipe off the wet parts and wring it out, and you can really drop a lot of weight that way. Also, as you guys know, I a lot of times carry a bandana, so I have it for multi-purpose use, just a rag, snot rag, wiping off anything I need. I think the bandana days are over. I think I'm just gonna straight up replace it with these chamois cloths. I brought 2 of them this time because I just knew it was gonna rain a lot. I wanted to just have, one that was kind of clean if the other one was dirty from wiping off whatever gear. On the last trip, I brought a pack of Kleenexes, which is really not needed because I have these cloths, and so this trip I opted not to bring these. And it's funny because it would have been the first time I actually would have used them. My allergies were a mess this past trip, and I brought allergy pills, and it did the trick, so that was good. But also having 2 of these chamois cloths, I designated one for wiping off and drying my tent, and the other one became my snot rag in the middle of the night, and that's really a lifesaver. If you don't have something to blow your nose on when you're just draining, sinus fluid, it's really it's a lifesaver, I think. So bringing 2 of these on that past trip was definitely a good call. Also in Pennsylvania, when I got out there, Pennsylvania's got a lot of rocks. I'm sure a lot of you guys around the area know that. It's a very, very rocky area, and my tent does not have like string pullouts on all the corners where I stake it down at. And when I was out there hiking, I was really worried that, man, if we're in a rocky area, I didn't bring any cordage to tie off to the tent to then tie off to a rock in case I can't drive my stakes into the ground. So going to Dolly Sods, it also being a very, very rocky area, I made sure I brought some cordage. Definitely not the lightest stuff. This is just 550 paracord, but I wanted to just have some extra. And if it wasn't enough, I could, rip it apart and get all the individual strands out of it. But pretty much had that covered in case the ground was not stake friendly. And because I brought that extra cordage, I actually left my bear bag kit with my little Zing-It line at home. This was a YouTube meetup. There's plenty of people coming. Every time I've ever hiked with other people, I just use their bear line. I figured somebody would have a bear line, and if they didn't, I have that little bit of extra cordage there. We'll figure something up. Which I don't advise this, but I did mooch off other people just hanging their bear line just to save a couple ounces this trip. Something I normally always bring and didn't on this trip was my Silky saw. It's only a 6-ounce F180 Silky. This is an absolutely awesome saw, and it just cuts through wood like butter. But being that it was going to be rainy and I wasn't sure if we were going to be able to have a fire, and just being that I haven't used it much on like multi-person backpacking trips lately, I just decided to leave this one home. If it was a solo trip, I probably would have brought it because, you got a lot of downtime. You're not talking to anybody, so I would have probably cut up a whole bunch of like big logs so I didn't have to go around finding sticks all night long, and just basically something to do. I also left at home my little extra Sawyer dirty bag for filtering water. Brought it to Pennsylvania with me and didn't use it. It was just a backup from my 1-liter Sawyer bag that I use. Just in case it popped, I would still have a dirty water container to filter into my clean water containers, my smart water bottles. But I just decided to save the extra probably 1 ounce that this weighs, leave it at home. If my other bag would pop or have any problems with it, I could just use one of my water bottles and just be down to 1 good bottle and 1 dirty bottle. Clothing wise, I brought a little dry bag here that had my Mountain Hardwear puffy jacket in it, which just served to be a great pillow. A lot of times I'll bring it along just because for the weight, 8 ounces, it's super warm. It's a good backup warm layer to have, because I didn't bring a base layer and I really didn't even bring a mid layer. A lot of times I'll bring like a lightweight fleece. All I had was a t-shirt, and I brought a long sleeve tech tee that's very light, and I had that in here as well. I also had my Montbell wind shirt and 1 extra pair of socks. So the puffy extra shirt, I had 1 extra pair of shorts, and the wind shirt, that all added up to be 2 pounds. And really, I didn't use anything out of this bag except for on the last day out, I did give myself a little luxury and put my clean socks on. Food was pretty much normal stuff, and I get a lot of bad comments about the food I bring. People say I just bring too much sugar, and they'd say that stuff's gonna kill you. Like, I'm a pretty healthy eater. I don't eat snack food. I don't drink pop. I don't eat candy bars like on regular days and whatnot. But when I'm on the trail, you want food that you want to eat. You don't want to just be eating stuff because it's got nutrients in it and it's terrible to eat, because you might find yourself just not wanting to eat it. So bringing things like Snickers and gummy snacks are foods that really I enjoy eating. And I've done a lot of like running races where I pretty much just eat sugar like the entire time, and carbs are my friend. Other people might be a little bit different, but I can just pound sugar like non-stop, and it just keeps me going all day. So on this trip, I brought actually some things that I use to fuel during runs. I brought honey stinger waffles on this trip. These are really good, I think. Me and Timmy from Restless Outdoors, we were talking about how they are kind of dry sometimes, so they're not the best. But being that it was like just dumping water on me all day long Sunday. It was just the right amount of moisture to make this like just absolutely great. And I also brought some gummy chews. I'm not sure what they were called exactly, but they're made by Honey Stinger as well, and they're really good. They're like a gritty gummy snack that's made for energy. So it's not really just like your average like Welch's gummy snacks you get at the store. It's actually made for, you know, outdoor like activities. Not really outdoor activities, but any activity where you need energy. They're energy gels pretty much. I also brought Snickers, just like I always do. I brought a couple of these Cliff Bars, which were really nice. I have just a stockpile of these at home for going on long bike rides. These are one of my favorite things to keep in my bag when I'm doing that. And that's pretty much it for all the changes in gear. Like I said, if you want to check out my full loadout, make sure you check out the I'm not sure what it's called. I think it's a 2019 spring loadout gear video. Check that out if you want to see all the stuff in depth. Well, that's it for the video, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you got something out of this. Be sure to subscribe if you want to see more videos, and we'll see you on the next one.